Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Beats and Bandanas podcast. I want to start off by thanking those who listened and or watched the first episode. I got some good feedback from you guys. I really appreciate that more than you know, and we're going to keep this going. Should be a weekly episode thing. Lost my train of thought mid-sentence, but you get what I'm trying to say. Go ahead and grab something to drink, you feel me? I got my green tea on deck, you know what's going on. Bruh, drunk is so good. So there's a lot that I want to talk about. Well, kind of not a lot, but a lot. It's just a couple of topics, but each one is just kind of in-depth, so I'm gonna try to be as concise as I can, but it's the podcast, you feel me? So no pressure. All right, so let's start off with the man himself. Wake up, Mr. West. Kanye. Bruh, I swear that that sounded a lot cooler in my head, but execution is everything. So yeah, Mr. West, Ye, has been kind of on a consistent posting thing on social media. He's been kind of hinting at possible music projects and or releases that have just been having some of us questioning, you know, what are you putting something out, what's going on? And the first thing that I remember, it started with him saying something on Twitter about Watch the Throne 2. So I'm wondering, are you and Jay about to do something? What's going on? I need some answers. I didn't get any answers. But then Twitter went on kind of like a slight frenzy the other night, as far as like the music side of Twitter / Kanye fan side of Twitter, because he was making like numerous posts hinting at an announcement or something. I'm trying to remember the order of the posts. I think it started off with the picture of the mini disc. Nothing else was said. It was just the mini disc. And then different pictures of people doing things with their bodies that I can't even imagine doing myself without dying in the process. And then it finished off with a screenshot of the mini disc again, and below it, it said Yandi 9/29/18, which is next Saturday. So people started going kind of wild, all right? You got folks yelling out, Yeezus 2! Like, what is this? What's going on? On a Saturday? Like, it was just so many different responses. In a way, dare I say, or dare we say, is this an album? I'm not sure what type of project this is. I'm very intrigued to hear it and see what it's about when that date approaches. But then on Instagram there was also more stuff. There was a video of him and Chance the Rapper on a stage somewhere. I'm not sure where they were at. But then he announced that they have a collaborative album coming out called Good Ass Job. Like, hello? What's going on? Like, you doing all this stuff, bro? Like, where are we starting? Well, I guess we're starting with Yandi. I guess I answered my own question. But then along with these announcements and stuff come the comments. Some people were kind of all over the place saying stuff like, wait, what about your solo project? What are you doing? We want something solo. Blah, blah, blah. But knowing Kanye, these might just be things that he's bringing up now, with the exclusion of Yandi, which we have a definite date for. But these other things, you know, might be coming later on. So I don't think he's just, you know, changing his mind about what he's putting out, but he's just announcing future projects. So of course, now let's address the controversy. There were people immediately making comments saying stuff like, you're over here dropping more music because your sales flopped with Ye. You're desperate doing all these collabs just to stay relevant. And what was the other one? With Chance, under that video, people were telling Chance, you know, don't do this collab. Kanye's bad for the brand. It's a bad PR move. He cut you out of that one song, remember? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. If memory serves me correct, did Ye's album not place on the Billboard charts? As I sip my tea. delicious tea. So I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's the issue here. The issue is this whole fad about canceling people, and that's a completely different rant I can get on, but I'm not going to right now. Now the parts about the collabs to stay relevant, I think they're speaking in reference to the recent one he did on the song, is it called I Love It, with Lil Pump, and recent pictures coming out hinting towards a new collab with 6ix9ine. But I can definitely understand the viewpoints of some people that are saying, like, you know, yo, why are you collabing with these people? You know, they're not even on the same spectrum. Like, you guys make completely different music, blah 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 blah. I can understand that, and I can also understand kind of the controversy behind him collabing with 6ix9ine, considering his alleged past and stuff like that. That's a completely different can of worms there. When I say I can understand it, I can just see where they're coming from. Now, let me speak on it. If you've seen Anthony Fantano, aka The Needle Drop, on YouTube, he had a video called Let's Argue, where he talked about Kanye and people thinking that he's a cloud chaser. And he talked about these collabs specifically, which was very interesting. So I would recommend you guys checking that out. But one thing that he did mention that I do agree with is that these artists, Pump, 6ix9ine, to name a few, these artists are popular. They're popular. They could really do a freaking song of the ABCs on a beat and it would blow up in 5 minutes, because it's just, that's the audience that they have, the fan base that they have. So I think for Kanye, if it weren't for them being popular, then no, I don't see why he would do it. I think he's always made strategic moves that, you know, are going to be good for Kanye as far as like the music and stuff goes. So, I mean, does everyone agree with it? No. But is it smart? Yeah, it's smart. Was I shocked? Yes. I was very surprised that he did a song with Pump, and even more surprised when I saw the picture of him and 6ix9ine. I don't know if it was like their first time meeting, but whatever photo that was in the studio or something like that. Very surprised. But at the end of the day, everyone that has been saying things about Kanye still, about him being canceled, every time there's a post music related from him, y'all can keep that, we're not interested, blase blase. Y'all, the majority of the people saying this, let me just paint out a picture of what they're going to be doing next Saturday. They're going to be somewhere in their car, in their room, listening to Yandhi, praying to the heavens above that they don't accidentally tweet out a song lyric. I'm telling you right now, that is what they're going to do. Because half of them did that when Ye came out. They were sitting there, oh man, you know, I know he's canceled, but my thing is this: you can have your opinion on an artist, you can have your viewpoint, etc, etc, but bro, you got to keep the same energy. Okay, just because they drop something and now you want to be like, oh well, maybe he's not canceled after all. I think the problem stems from when you feel the need to go and speak out and put it on social media about how canceled someone is. That's when people look at you sideways when you end up listening to their stuff. It's different if you don't speak on it and you might have a conversation with like some friends and stuff. Well, you know, I really don't like when he said XYZ and stuff like that. I don't agree with what he said at all. But yeah, that's just how I feel. And then you move on, I guess, and you know, if you want to listen to their music, you do. But at the very, very end of the day, the decision is this: you're either going to listen to the music or not. That's with any artist that does something out here. You're either gonna listen or you're not. No one's going to twist your hand or force you to listen, because it's your decision. It's your decision. If you decide to separate the artist from what they do in the public eye, that's your decision. Kanye is still a musical genius as well at the end of the day. We can't and will not discredit him that. And so with that being said, I'm intrigued to hear what his new releases are going to be like. So yeah, I plan on listening to them. Now I will say, when all that TMZ stuff came out, I didn't listen to Ye. I felt kind of weird about listening to it because I didn't know how I felt. Because when you listen to someone for so long and then they kind of say something crazy, it's like, what do you do? It's hard to sit there and just, you know, turn your back on someone like that when you've listened to them since freaking middle school. Come on, like, let's just be realistic here. So to conclude with Kanye, I think he's one of the artists out here that makes valid points but executes them so poorly. And then by the time he gets in a setting where it's calm and he can explain himself, people aren't trying to listen. And well, a lot of people aren't trying to listen, not everybody, but a majority of people aren't trying to listen because they feel like, oh, you know, you waited this long to say something, why didn't you, you know, try to clear up what you were gonna say then? And some people are just still stuck on the phrasing that he used and didn't care to hear the explanation. And that's not the only person that has happened to, which leads me to talk about, I swear if y'all stop listening to this episode because I mentioned this boy's name, we're gonna have to scrap in the playground after I'm done. Hear me out. Russ. Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I started listening to Russ when he dropped his album There's Really a Wolf, and I was just confused after a certain amount of time on how this boy became so hated so fast. But he is literally a spitting image of artists who want to say something impulsively. They meant something else, but because of how they said it and the way that they said it, it's taken completely out of context. And with him, of course, like, I'm not going to go in depth with that part, but as far as Russ is concerned, but it's about like his views on the promotion of drug use to younger audiences through merch or through music and stuff like that, and certain people taking advantage of their impressionable audiences. So there's a lot of information on that if you care to look that up. But that's more so what I'm talking about in his case. Now, you know, on the surface, I can see why people don't like him. On the surface, like his tweets, he can come off as very arrogant and like a Mr. Right. But I saw something about him on Twitter with Young Bands and Smoke Perp about some beef that they had. And when I looked more into it, I'm just like, why does this matter? It's not important. But the only thing that stood out to me was the fact that he was talking on The Breakfast Club and talking about saying something like, oh, they know what time it is, it's all F Russ, but y'all are broke and blah 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 blah, y'all know what time it is, y'all know what time it is. And then it came out that he had sent, I think, his security guards to beat up Perp somewhere at some music event. I don't know if it was a festival or something. I was more intrigued on learning about that, because one thing that I cannot stand are cowardly acts. If it's something that you can't do yourself, then don't do it. If you have to send other people to do it for you, don't do it. If you got to stand there and get your crew together to go jump somebody, don't do it. But he didn't do that at all. He just wasn't involved whatsoever. And I can't respect that. I don't care which artist it is, because I feel like the artists that I listen to, if they got beef with somebody and they want to get physical about it, they're going to go do it themselves. So I can't respect that part about Russ at all. And then the way he addressed it was saying like, rich people don't get their hands dirty or something along those lines. And that is the arrogant side, the conceited side, the cocky side of Russ that people see, and it turns into a strong dislike. Would I call it hatred? For me, no, like, it's not that deep, but I can understand where the dislike comes from. Because when you're over here talking about how successful you are, how platinum, how your songs have gone platinum and gold, and how you're just like a triple threat, you know, you produce your stuff and you write your songs and you book all these tours and concerts and stuff like that. Okay, that's cool. Very commendable. I can't discredit you for your hard work and your, you know, your ethics, your work ethic. But that is easily, without a doubt, overshadowed by your social media involvement and just your impulse, man. And you know, he talked about that himself, about how he's impulsive in his interview on The Breakfast Club. And you know, I strictly went to watch that interview for the sole purpose of seeing more about like what happened with this fight, because it just wasn't adding up to me. And that interview was about 40 something minutes long, and I sat there and watched the whole thing before I realized it, because the points that they were talking about leading up to that, this man is so, Russ is so insightful and is just so knowledgeable about a lot of the topics they were discussing. I'm like, why don't you show this side of yourself more? That interview would have been longer if they let it be longer, because he can talk all day long, but it's like the stuff he was saying was just, it was 100% truth. But it gets to the point, like I said, when you've already said something in one way on social media, no one's going to be listening to you. No one's going to be willing to sit here and watch an interview for about 40 something minutes about seeing how down to earth and how your words were taken out of context. Did I say that right? I jumbled my words, but I think you get what I'm saying. No one's going to want to listen to you talk about how, you know, down to earth you are. No one's going to want to watch this interview where you make your valid points because you're in a calmer setting explaining what you meant. It's kind of like you're trying to do that now, but where was that explanation? Where was that thorough thinking process when you decided to like wear a shirt talking about like how many Xans and stuff do you have to take before you realize you're a loser? When someone sees something like that, it can be easily misconstrued and it can be taken out of context in an instance. I mean, let's just be real. When I first saw it, I'm just like, dang, you over here trying to call out people using drugs, calling them losers, like, you know, what you're doing is not cool, etc., etc. But for people that, you know, suffer from drug addictions, drug abuse and stuff like that, they looked at that and was just like, dude, that's not cool. You're speaking from a viewpoint that you know nothing about. But on the interview, he explained himself and it made a lot more sense. So I just wanted to talk about that, because you can see how quickly the downward spiral can form when you are impulsive about things. But I do encourage y'all to go watch that interview, because it was really good. It was really good. For me to sit there and watch that, you know, for 40 something minutes, you know, it was really good. You had people like Denzel Curry tweeting like, why do you hate Russ so much? Like, what did he do? And that's what also piqued my interest to look into that a little bit more. By the way, if you haven't heard Taboo, go listen to it. Great album. Great album. Good job, Curry. Yeah. A mini rant about Russ, but that's also going into now just me seeing things about how people wish death upon him, saying like when Mac died, for example, y'all took Mac but left Russ here. Y'all gotta cut it out. Y'all really gotta cut it out and do something better with your time. Please go read a book, go to the library, get on the internet, go play some cool games, learning games to stimulate your brain cells, because y'all got to cut that stuff out. I don't see what y'all get from it. I really don't. But what do you get from that? What do you get from telling somebody that you wish they would have died instead of someone else? And that really gets to me. And there was actually something that I forgot to say, but it also ties into this. Y'all, like, we as people, we have a freedom of speech, okay? But you are not free of the consequences. That applies to everyone. That applies for the Kanye stuff, the Russ stuff, anybody. And for people out there that are making comments like that. Because, like, you don't understand what that can do to people. I think that a lot of people in the world, they put celebrities and people of a higher social status or ranking on this pedestal as if they're not human beings at the end of the day, when they are. It's not that hard to comprehend. It's not hard to comprehend, period. But it's so easy for people to put these comments down, wishing death on someone, or cracking these jokes on people, just dragging them for filth because they're celebrities, because they should be able to have a tough skin and put up with it. But as soon as they go off, yo, chill out, man, what's wrong with you? You're bigger than this. Nah, man, like, how much do you think a person can take? And you don't understand that you could be the contributing factor to someone's downward spiral. You don't get that. But the thing that angers me the most about stuff like this, and in that interview, this point was brought up, how when Mac dropped his album on the same day as Astroworld, and people were like, nah, man, you can keep that. We don't need this. Travis dropped his music. I shouldn't even have to break down what that looks like and what that sounds like. And then for it to be from, the majority of people that make the dumbest, most insensitive comments are these fake accounts that you don't even have the courage to show your face. You have like some fake profile picture and stuff like that, and I don't understand. Like, you're hiding behind something. I don't get it. But back to what makes me angry about all of this is that y'all are the same people. Let someone come and say something to you in real life, all right, and you want to call it bullying when you're already a bully. But you pick and choose when you want to be a bully. Are you kidding me? Get out of here, man. Like, that drives me crazy. That infuriates me on some real stuff. That really does. Like, y'all gotta get it together. You really do. Like, do not dish what you can't take. You shouldn't be dishing it at all, because some of y'all really just do the most. Like, I get people making jokes here and there, but some of y'all really just go overboard when you tell people like kill themselves, and when you tell people, nah, man, you can keep that. It's trash anyway. Like I said, jokes are one thing, but there's also a crossing of lines. Do not even try to think it's not plausible that you could be a contributing factor to someone's downfall. Because how much do you think a person can take? These celebrities get thousands and thousands of comments and stuff like that every day. For what? I don't get it. I'll never understand that. I will never understand it. Like, people want to be so gun-ho about spread peace, love, positivity throughout the community, but some of y'all are the ones spreading the most hate and bringing people down. For what reason? And the stuff that y'all say, I just want to like meet y'all and just give y'all some breathing exercises. Take you to the park. Inhale, exhale. Look at some nature. I can drop you off in like a meadow. Go run through the flowers or something. Play some music, run in slow motion. Enjoy yourself, and I'll come pick you up in about 10 hours when you've had plenty of time to think about what you said and you're ready to change your life around. Cause I'm not with it at all. Man, talking about that for so long made my tea cold. Now I'm pressed. Now you made me mad. Y'all made me angry. The people that I'm talking about. All right, we're gonna move on from that now and get to our 2 minutes max. I think this time I've picked something that I can actually talk about for 2 minutes or less, but definitely not just a minute long. Put my sound on. Somebody better not text or call me and interrupt my timer. Okay. minutes max on Eminem and MGK. So if you watch the interview with Eminem and Sway, if you haven't seen that, I do encourage you to go watch it. Pretty insightful interview, and informative is more so what I meant to say. Informative. Anyways, so the beef did not start with MGK talking about his daughter, Haley. It started off with a feature he did on Tech Nine's album where he's talking about how these rappers aren't gods. And then it went to Twitter. He said he saw a tweet that says something along the lines of, you just rap, you not God. And that's where it kind of started his annoyance, I guess, the rage to say something to him. So now we're going to transition into these disses. I recently listened to the Rap Devil diss track and then Kill Shot, Eminem's response to MGK. And there were a couple points that I did make. Let's see here. I feel like in Rap Devil, MGK definitely held his own, and I won't discredit him that. I did really like the beat and the production, the whole let's talk about it. I thought that was catchy. I don't know, some people were just like, man, you're not a real rapper, you're not supposed to have a hook, a chorus or whatever in your diss tracks, man, get out of here. I mean, I liked it though, I liked that part. But I think the two things that separates, or the one thing that really separates these diss tracks entirely, Rap Devil from Kill Shot, is Eminem. I sensed a hatred in that man's voice. He came with that rawness, that vulgarity that we're used to and that we want from him. And I think that's what just separated, was the delivery of it all. But is this feud over with? I don't know. In his interview, he was just like, he doesn't know what he's gonna do from this point, but it should pretty much be over. I have 10 seconds. But I do think they both had their share of corny lines in the diss tracks. But yeah, I just let the timer go down. Like, I just let the timer run down. And so there were a couple things that I didn't say, but yeah, I think I pretty much said the important stuff. So yeah, all right, we made it to 2 minutes, y'all. I think I like the flow of that little segment. So to conclude, let's talk albums. My pleads, my constant begging was heard by Brockhampton because they're dropping their album this Friday on the 21st, Iridescence, and let me tell you, I'm so excited. I was about to say the next line, but that would have been real corny of me. And I just can't hide it. All right, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for that release. You hear me? Who else is there? Freaking the Carter 5, yo. Like, is that coming out? There's so many different tweets, and you know how people are when it comes to social media. They will see one thing and freaking take off with it. Oh my god, the Carter 5 is dropping on the 21st. Oh, bruh, did Wayne say that himself? Did he say it himself? I haven't seen Wayne say anything about it dropping on the 21st. I went looking on this man's Twitter. I didn't see not a thing. So y'all better stop hyping me up and getting my hopes up, because I don't like to be let down. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now that we're on the same page, I hope he drops it on the 21st. But if he doesn't, can't be too surprised, to be honest. So we'll see. Then another one that I saw named San Holo. He does like more EDM type of music, but like I said, my music taste is very diverse. So you'll hear me listening to people like, I'm looking at my phone, because I'm very selective with this type of music. Artists like Kazette, Avicii, there's one more. Oh, Galantis, yeah. So artists like that for that genre of music. So I might check that album out. It's called Album 1, I believe it's titled. And from some of the music, his single tracks that I listened to, they're pretty good. So I might take a listen to that. I had a bunch on my paper, and I think I addressed everything. Hopefully I did. But of course, you know, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on some of the points that I made. It's definitely okay to disagree or agree to disagree, but I like having discussions and talking about stuff. So yeah, we'll see what you guys think. Other than that, You guys stay safe in these streets, and I will catch you on the next one.
I'm gonna let you know right now, it's not even about the swag no more. It's not even about how you look no more. It's not even about what you got anymore. Confidence is all you need, my nigga. Took me a long way to go. You feel me? Just do it. Whatever the fuck you doing, do it. Yo, if you doing something positive in your fucking life, continue doing what the fuck you doing, son. If a nigga tell you you can't do that shit, my nigga, fuck that nigga, man. Confidence. When everybody was talking about, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, I'm like, fuck them. You ain't me. Confidence. Have that shit. Continue to have that shit. I'm out.